That's
Well,
me in a
that's
nutshell.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because when you started off, one of the things that I enjoy about these conversations is the introduction. And for folks that maybe haven't experienced 5-MeO, and I should say that because one of the things I want to talk about is the difference between 5-MeO and some of the more common or classical psychedelics and those experiences and how to integrate it. Again, integration is the theme for today. We've got our UnChurch University, we've got our psychedelic integration specialist course coming up in January. But again, we've talked integrating this experience is different because it is a different experience. But my question is, when you're starting off your introduction, again, I won't be able to word it the same way you do, but you're trying to express to people, and correct me if I'm wrong, this understanding that Martin Ball that we see on the screen, Kerby that we see on the screen, this is just a character. It's a role, one of many roles that we play throughout our life. The difference is you and I see it as this role. We see it as the character. Before the podcast, I'm like, okay, Kerby's got a podcast. What's the uniform of Kerby? What are all these pieces? What are your set and setting, but understanding that you're more than that. That a good portion of Kerby is a programmed version, but be able to see this programmed version from a different space. When did you? So you said for your first experience, you were already down the non-dual rabbit hole on some level. So
Yeah.
having the 5-MeO experience was more of a, yep, that's it. For me, no concept of non-duality, stepping into the space. So it was a completely different experience of like, what is that? I'm not that. So that experience of that non-dual, I think it is unique. It's not unique to 5-MeO. I mean, I've facilitated other experiences where people have had it, but it seems out of all the classical psychedelics or the more common psychedelics that it's more common to have this egoic death, this connection with everything, and this realization of the separation between yourself and your ego, where you could see the programming. Would you agree that it is different than common psychedelics? And if so, what would you say the unique experience difference is?
Yeah, it is absolutely different from any other psychedelic that's out there. And the way that I've been describing this since my own experience in 2008 is that it's the premier tool for non-dual experience that exists within reality, that there really isn't anything else that it compares. And even the fact that we're talking about non-duality in conjunction with psychedelic experience, in some ways, I'm largely responsible for that because I was the one who back in 2008 started saying, okay, this is the non-dual experience as mediated through 5-MeO DMT. And prior to that, like nobody was really talking, nobody used that language of non-duality within the context of psychedelics. And particularly back at that time, everybody was interested in 2012 and machine elves and all kinds of stuff that has nothing to do with quote unquote non-duality or the ultimate nature of being. And this is where 5-MeO, I had tried other various psychedelics before my experience with 5-MeO. And so I would describe myself, as I said, sort of as a speculative non-dual philosopher. And by that, I mean that I thought that that was probably the way things were in some sense. I'd read enough Buddhist philosophy and it made enough sense to me. I was like, yeah, this is probably how things are. But do I know that that's how things are? No, I've never had this experience. I've had intuitions that this is correct. I've felt that this is correct, but not an overwhelming experience that I would consider just to be flat out undeniable. Whereas that's what the 5-MeO DMT experience was. And it was still, I want to emphasize that it was still incredibly surprising for me. So it wasn't just, oh, this is what I've always thought. It's like, oh shit, this is real. Like this is happening right now. Like this is really it. And also I am the progenitor of the term the God molecule. And that's because with my first experience with 5-MeO DMT, that prior to that, I was really uncomfortable with the word God. I didn't use it. I would talk about, universal consciousness or, something like that, but not God. But from that experience, my takeaway was, holy shit, I just met God. And not only did I meet God, but I experienced the truth that God is the only thing that actually exists. And it is this universal, intelligence that is made out of the pure energy of unconditional love, which that's its fundamental nature. And it is everyone and everything. And so that means that includes everything that I think is Martin, including my body, my thoughts, my breath, my heartbeat, what I see, what I hear, what I taste, what I experience, and also the egoic identity that I have, that hello, that this is Martin. But within that experience, that sense of being Martin was transcended within a few seconds. And then it was this merging into this ecstatic state of infinite unconditional love that was conscious and aware. And it knew that it was me, and I knew that I was it, and it knew that it was everything. So that means I knew that I was everything. And this is not in any way unique experience with 5-MeO-DMT, that
Right.
this is the pinnacle of the 5-MeO experience.